Welcome, everybody, to episode 26 of the Under 1 Million podcast, the podcast based off of the Deserving playlist series on Spotify. I am your host, Adair, and I am here with my guest, who has been placed on the Deserving playlist with his record Many Men in week 14, and also last week with Not A, and he was actually last week's winner. Go ahead and take it away, my man.
Yo, what's up, man? I'm glad I won last week. That's kind of dope. I actually hit up the other artists too, like, yo, let's work, because I went to like listen to his music. He's dope. But yeah. So I'm Katori Walker, Pasadena, California, artist, independent artist, father, human being, man. I'm just a human being, a normal person. So that's how I'm say. Yeah, I'm
Why?
A lot of people ain't normal, bro. A lot of people ain't normal.
now that we know that, we can move forward with the right way. But that's dope that you mentioned that you tried to connect with the other artists, because honestly, that's why I started this whole thing, man. I'm trying to connect artists with other artists and just kind of create a community. So I appreciate you doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And when I hear dope music, I gotta reach out. I definitely gotta reach out. That's important because I know what it's like to just be a dope artist and not have the platform or not have like the looks that you feel like you deserve, you know? So we got, everybody got into music, well, most people, I don't want to say everybody, but we got into music because we loved it or we was inspired by somebody else. So if I hear an artist want to come up that's like inspiring, I got to like work with him or her or they, so.
Exactly. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. But I appreciate you taking the time to join me. But good or bad, how are you doing, man? How's everything going?
Oh, man. Good, man. Just, this year I just been really goal oriented, like what I'm trying to do and everything that I'm trying to accomplish. And I've been doing it. I've been sticking to it, created a routine for myself. And yeah, man, it's been great, man. I'm dodging COVID. I'm 2 years strong too, and some change, just dodging the shit, dog. Like a lot of people around me have like had it, but just dodging it, man. Just dodging COVID.
I'm right there with you in that boat, man. I've been staying clear so far, but how's your headspace been throughout this whole thing? Because I know I've had my ups and downs throughout the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, man. It's 2020 was hard. 2020 was hard because, like the way that when COVID first hit, we all was scared. Like I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it meant, and like we was like at home watching our TVs. I was like the most I've ever watched the news in my life. Like, So we like watching our TVs and just, I was scared, dog. Honestly, I was scared. I didn't know what would come from it. We seeing hospitals with crazy amounts of dead bodies and crazy stuff, and we watch the numbers rise every day. And we thinking it's like, you get it, you die,
Right. And
come to find out that's the truth, well, some people do, for some people, unfortunately. But that kind of threw me off like musically and sent me into like this downward spiral, dog. Like I'm stuck in a house. I'm not moving. I'm not creating. I'm not doing anything. So that kind of just threw me off. And then I just had to like kind of lace up my boots and kind of just begin back writing every day and creating songs and all this other stuff. And then I kind of got back in the groove. And that's what like Idols was about, like finally kind of getting back into the groove of everything.
That whole project was dope. I thought that was a really cool concept of kind of creating one record for, each of your idols, or at least a few of them that you've at least grabbed influence from. So anybody listening, definitely go check out that project, Idols, for sure. It's dope. Are you still watching news though? Because I'm like off news, man. News is gone out of my house.
I'm not even tuning in, bro. I don't know. I watch SportsCenter. Does that count?
I'll count that. I'll count it.
Yeah, it's SportsCenter. That's it. Other than that, nah, I can't do it. It's way too crazy.
It's kind of like, what's the point, man? I don't even know what's true, what's not true. Like, what they're telling us different things on different channels, different network, whatever. It's like, whatever. I'm just gonna ignore it and do my own thing and stay safe.
Yeah, you stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands. That's been my motto. And I don't do like big crowds. I have had a show, like I performed in October, and that was kind of different for me, because I've been in the house for the last 2 years. So doing a show and seeing people come out, it was kind of weird because like fans want to embrace and like hug and all this other shit. And it's like,
I don't know you.
Happy that you're here. I'm happy that you support him, but we're not doing one of these. We're not embracing. We're not. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to keep myself safe. I got a kid, you know? So yeah, it's that type of thing, you know?
There's a new set of rules out there, that's for sure.
It's a new set of rules. It's not personal. It's not personal.
No, absolutely not. Some people might take it that way, but hey, they'll learn eventually. But
yeah,
I feel you too, because I don't have a son or a daughter myself, but my brother just had a beautiful baby daughter about 6-7 months ago now. So really, that's all I care about. Like I don't really care about protecting myself for me. I care about her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Facts.
But who is Katori Walker? It's hard to find out information and just more about independent artists as they're growing. So tell me what makes you you.
I just got a call coming in. Let me put my phone on do not disturb. Hold on.
It's straight.
I don't want to be disturbed.
It happens from time to time.
Yeah. So, who is Katori Walker? Like I said, I'm a human being who is figuring it out like everybody else. I don't want to come across as this dude that feels like he knows everything or he has all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm just figuring it out. I'm a father first, human being first as well. I'm a person that believes in helping people. I'm not always the person that wants like a money grab or if I do something for you, you got to do something for me. Like, nah, I genuinely like helping other people. I'm a person that people can come and talk to. I'm a person that's also not afraid to say how I feel. I'm not, you know how like us as men we're taught to like kind of withhold our feelings and not really talk about it. Like I use music as an opportunity to talk about it and not just like surface level shit. I got haters or my girl pissed me off. Like, nah, bro, I'm going through depression and I don't want to live. Like shit like that and just being vulnerable. So I'm just someone that's just, you know, being vulnerable and being honest and like kind of showing the different sides of the human experience, you know, because I'm experiencing life like everybody else. So that's who I am. I'm just a human being. I'm not this overly complicated person. I'm just a normal person. I am goofy as fuck though. A lot of people listen to my music like this dude is serious. Like they'll see me on social media, like thinking I'm serious, and I'm not. I'm not a serious person at all. Like I'm literally laughing and joking all the time. It's kind of weird that people have that perception. But then when I listen to my music as a fan, it's like, oh, I can see that. I can see, but I'm not that serious.
It's difficult in a space like music because you kind of have to. You got to brand yourself in a certain way, so it's kind of hard. Like, can I like go on here and act goofy and then make this music? I feel you on that. It's a kind of a battle sometimes.
Yeah, that's been the battle for me now because it's like almost like people want everything besides the music. Like they want you to go on TikTok and act the fool, and then you just hope that your funny video will lead people to music. But it's like, bro, I'm about music. Like that's what I do. I don't. If I make you laugh, it's in person. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in person. Like I might show you clips of my life. I might show you my daughter. I might show my girl and all that stuff. But like, that's about music. That's why I'm on here. If I wasn't doing music, I probably wouldn't have social media. Like that's how I feel. You know? So, yeah, that's the challenge. And I can see a lot of artists. Like I had a conversation with my manager, and he's been like managing for years. It was like, yo, like this is the first time where I'm completely stumped because it's 100%. Like it's like 95% not about your art. It's about how much can you entertain people other than playing your shit, you know?
If it was only music, it would be the best job ever. But
yeah.
I think people look at artists and they're like, oh yeah, and all they're doing is just out there having so much fun all the time. It's really not that.
It's really not that. It's really not. Like I realized like some of my funnest moments is when I have an idea that was in my head and it comes out the speakers the way it was in my head. That's the funnest shit about making music and performing. Like those two things, having an idea actually come out and getting on the stage, that's the best part about all this shit, you know?
100%.
Those are two of the best parts. And when my daughter learns my songs, like she learns. When she says my songs, and she'll tell me she don't like this one, Daddy. I'm like, damn.
Hey, that's what's good about having young people around, man. They're not gonna hold back. They'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I gotta take with a grain of salt because she don't know. Especially when I'm battling. You don't know what I'm saying.
I feel you. I wanna bring it back to a little point. You said you try to always, be vulnerable and share your true feelings with people and things like that. Mm-hmm. Do you find that difficult in the space that we're in? and getting at least reciprocation from people around you when you do that?
You talking about musically?
Just anything, you know, I mean, your personal feelings, music, whatever it is.
I'm selective. Like I'm not this extremely private person, but I'm very selective. Like I'll have a conversation with people and see how like the energy is, and like I'll read the person, and I'll give that person the information that I feel like I can trust them with, you know. But if it's someone that I know I can trust you with, I'll lay out, you know what I'm saying? I'll lay out the whole platter for you. Like, this is what I'm going through. This is how I feel. Blase, blase, blase. Especially like, of course, like my girl, she's my girl. She got to deal with it. She signed up for this shit. So, but then I got like my sister, and then my cousin. I'll talk to him about certain stuff too. But like, it's not that challenging at all. It's not really challenging because I think sometimes as people we feel like we're weak for being vulnerable, but vulnerability is a strength because everybody thinks it's a weakness. If you get what I'm trying to say, you know. So that's why I don't have that issue. But if I was to say, like, there are certain things that I struggle to talk about musically because I've buried shit like from like my childhood and like childhood trauma and shit that like me and my brothers went through. I buried that. So like to pull those feelings back up, it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. Like, I don't know what will come up with that. Like, would it be like re-traumatizing myself, or will it come out wrong? You know what I'm saying? So those type of things, it's been more challenging, but everything else, nah, it's not that challenging. You know?
Are you willing to give any examples of like in your music now that I could go listen to, of any situation that you've had a hard time with kind of reconfronting in the music process?
I think the track Anxiety, a lot of people don't know. I was actually having an anxiety attack, and that's why I wrote that. When I was like, what's causing this anxiety? I feel, man, my heart hurt. My heart was literally hurting. I was literally having a panic attack. And I'm like, this is when I was signed to Capitol, and they had like got me like an Airbnb out in Coachella Valley during Coachella. So like during the week we working, and then on the weekend it's Coachella. You know what I'm saying? So it's like some dope shit, right? So I remember we had like a schedule where we would like make music in the morning, eat lunch, and then go work out a little bit, and then come back and make music, because it was three of my guys from London, and we were living in an Airbnb for like a month. That whole Stubborn project was created in a month. So long story short, we do our little morning routine, and we come back, and literally like I'm having an anxiety attack, but I didn't feel comfortable telling them about it, you know? Right. So I just like grab my phone, and I'm like in the corner, literally like chest hurting. I don't know if you ever had like an anxiety attack, but like chest hurting, hyperventilating, and all the shit. And I'm really writing out how I feel. And that's exactly, and that's what threw my mind to like start talking about my daughter and start talking about life. Like, what's the meaning of life? Is heaven real? Is God real? And all this other stuff, because anxiety is like almost like, I feel like I'm about to die. Okay, if I am about to die, what's after death? What does death feel like? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? What's the purpose of life? So that anxiety attack 100% caused that song. So that's one example. Wow. You know,
that, I mean, honestly, that makes me look at the song a little bit differently. But now that you do say that, I almost could feel it when I was listening to it, because I there was one point in that record, and I forget exactly where it was, but I listened to your whole catalog today, by the way. That's why it's fresh in my mind. But it was like, damn, I can really feel like the raw emotion on this record, and I can tell that this is genuine. And that's really what I look for in music mainly. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch it up, get us out of this depression mode here for a little bit. But I know you're from Pasadena, and I didn't actually, I wanted to mention this when you said it. I didn't know you were signed to Capitol, so I got questions later, but I want to get into this first. So I know you're from Pasadena, so everybody I think has an image of what California is all about and what it's like. I've never been there. I will go there one day. I think I say that on every episode. But do you feel like California or Pasadena specifically represents who you are, as you know, and what type of goals you have? And if not, where does? Or maybe a specific spot in Pasadena.
I feel like I've actually talked about that in my music too. I think it was on someone else's record. I think it was a feature or something. But I don't feel like I have a true home now, because like the city's gentrified as fuck now. Like once you get like 5 Starbucks locations and the 24-hour fitness, like it's gentrified. Like I didn't grow up with that. Like, you know, like the way I grew up, it was like a bunch of different like small like project sections and a bunch of like beat up houses. Like I remember the house I grew up in right across the street, like the house looked damn near abandoned. And we used to go over there and hang with them kids, you know, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't all like peas and cornbread. Like it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine. So now like the city's way different. Like just to live in Pasadena is like $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Like it's different now. It's much different. So it's a different culture. So what I grew up seeing, if someone was to visit now, it doesn't look the same, you know, like because I am in LA and people are starting to come to LA and LA is a hot spot. So of course, people want to make money, investors want to make money, investment groups want to make money. So they start gentrifying, they start from the beach and then they start coming inward, you know? And
Absolutely.
that's a part of it. It's not like I'm in from like Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where it's like, nah, this is y'all section, y'all just do that. You know what I'm saying? Where it just kind of like stays the same. Nah, it's developed over time and the house has changed. Like even the house I grew up in, like my stepmom, she's changed the whole house. Like she's got the kitchen renovated and the bathroom renovated, hardwood floors now. Like I ain't had no fucking hardwood floors growing up. We had fucking this fucking beige carpet with stains all over this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, my truth is not visible anymore. It's only in my head, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the challenging part. So do I feel like I have a home? I would just say like, just maybe like the San Fernando Valley, a part of LA. But do I feel like this is my home? No. Kind of Pasadena, but it's not familiar to what I remember growing up, you know?
I feel you. I went through very similar things. I'm in South Florida, Broward, Palm Beach, Miami, right by Miami. So that's been happening my whole life too. But I wanna. Did you say it's not all peas and cornbread in there, man? I got that. Is that like an old saying you got from your like mom?
Yeah, it's like
that?
it's like some shit that your grandparents say and shit. Like it's like all good. Like, you know, like a Sunday dinner, like you like peas and cornbread and greens and shit. Like it's not all good, you know.
Oh man, that's not the only thing I caught from what you said, but I had to bring that back up. But kind of going back, what do you miss the most about how it used to be there, you know, in Pasadena?
I think the ignorance. I think the ignorance of not knowing what life was really about. Like it was just like it was fun to not have all the answers. That's what I miss a lot. I think like you get older and you start realizing like everything costs money, everything has a consequence, everything can hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like being like when you're a kid, you're aware of your mortality, but you're not worried about your mortality. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you know, I remember like me and my brothers, like we would just ride our bikes to like the whole other side of the city, like 30 miles away, just because we didn't have no cell phones on Instagram, TikTok, none of that. We just leave with no one can contact us till we get back. Like, you know, shit like that, or like, you know, like that type of stuff. And I know it's like some childhood stuff, but like that type of stuff is what I miss, is just being able to go off the grid and not feel a consequence from it, you know? Like I feel like right now, like if I was to leave my phone at home and just go to the store, I'll be anxious on my way to the store. Like, holy shit, what if someone calls me? What if I get an email? What, you know? It's
For
like
sure.
that. I don't like that. It kind of makes you attached to the system, or this whatever we want to call it, but just attached to your phone and shit like that. So but it also has its benefits. Like I'm talking to you in Miami. Well, you said South Beach.
I'm in Palm Beach right
Palm
now,
Beach.
but
Palm Beach.
I grew up in Broward, and you know the areas.
Okay.
It's all basically one giant area now that's all conforming into Miami, but it's you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel you 100%. There's a beauty in that feeling when you were a kid and you don't have those responsibilities weighing down your thoughts and just weighing down your whole outlook on life, man. It's rough. It's rough. But but that's why we got the memories, you know what I mean? We gotta hold on to those because they're dear.
They're dear. Sure. They're dear. Yeah, man. So yeah, I think I missed that the most, just the ignorance of it. The beautiful side of ignorance, not the negative side of ignorance. Just
Absolutely.
The bliss of ignorance, you know?
That's the truest statement that I think a lot of people think ignorance is bliss. It's just a saying, but man, that shit is so fucking true. Oh man. But man, you got some incredible records. I want to kind of switch it more towards the music side of things now, but you have incredible records and you have a nice little catalog for new listeners, you know what I mean, to get a true taste of what or who you are and your whole sound and all that. So what is the compliment that you receive the most often from your listeners?
Probably like it's a couple. Like a lot of people like, bro, you be speaking that real shit. Like I hear that a lot. Or I could tell like what type of music people listen to by how they respond. Like some people be like, oh, like bro, all your shit is vibes. So I'm like, oh, you must be listening to like She and like the newer shit. You know, like I could tell like it's like for vibes. So like it's either that, like, bro, you can really rap, or you be talking that real shit, or you got the vibes. It's like those three, you know. Or musically, those are the best. Those are the top three, the most common.
I can definitely see that. For me, it's your ability to tell a story without losing any like bounce to the record. You know what I mean? Like most of your stuff has that perfect balance of story bars and that vibe that will capture the casual listener and be like, "Wow, this shit rides," and you're talking that real shit, whatever they are saying. But I don't know. I just find
you know something crazy about that? I didn't realize I was a storyteller in my music until someone at Capitol told me. I didn't realize it. I never thought about it like that. I just was making music, like literally like making music, rapping and shit. And then I had just when I was doing a Stubborn project, and it was like, bro, do you realize like you're a storyteller? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like you're telling stories in the songs. And I'm just thinking like, this is just music, bro. Like, so that kind of like enlightened my mind, like, holy shit, I am. And then I went back and listened to myself, like, oh shit, I really am, So it was never intentional. I don't know if it happens like that for like the great storytellers, the Kendrick Lamars, the Coles, the great storytellers. So I don't know if they ever did it intentionally, but for me, it just like came out, so.
Hey man, that's probably why it sounds so genuine. You know what I mean? Like it's very obvious most of the time. There are artists that can fake it to an extent, but it's very obvious most of the time when someone's telling the truth or being real and when they're not. And I've never gotten the first thing I said from you, so I don't know. Like I said, man, that's just the first thing that came to my mind when I heard your first record. I was like, God damn, this guy can tell a story. And I'm just surprised that was never even a thought for you, though.
It wasn't a thought for me at all, man, at all. I just
who at Capitol told you? Can you say that?
I want to say it was. I want to say his name is Fuzzy. I want to say it was Fuzzy that told me that, or Quinn. Quinn was my old A&R when I was there. So it was either one of them two. I just remember they were just telling me that, and it was like, "Yo, you're a storyteller," and that's how we want to market you, like the storyteller. And I'm like, it was like kind of like foreign, like, yo, But then I, like I said, I went back and listened, and it was like, wait, you're right, So
hey, whoever did say it, they knew what they're talking about for sure. But
good guys.
How did that all come about? The signing with Capitol, and why is that no longer a thing? And just tell me all about that, because I had no idea.
You want the long version or the short version?
We got time, man. Just tell me all.
So back in 2017, January 6, 2017, my brother was murdered. He was at a vigil actually out in Pasadena for one of his friends that was murdered 2 weeks prior. And the same gang that killed his friend, I end up eventually killing my brother. So I got into a dark space, like a really dark space, and I was mad at everybody. I cut off my whole family. Well, I didn't cut them off, but I stopped talking to everybody because like that's my little brother, So he gets murdered, and it kind of like was like an awakening for me. Like I'm at this dead end job that's not gonna do shit for me, and life is short. So literally he died on, I want to say maybe like a Saturday or a Friday. And on Sunday, I had the Armani record. Like I really, that's what I did. Like, yo, I'm emotional right now. I'm just gonna write this shit. So I write the record, and then I put out the project like a month later. The project goes crazy, like within the neighborhood and online and shit like that. And then a couple months later, I shoot a video, but I don't release it. And I'm thinking the video is whatever. And then I release the video, and then boom, video goes viral. I don't know if you've seen Armani video. Have you seen that video?
Excuse me. I don't think I've seen that one actually.
Oh yeah, you gotta see the video.
I definitely gotta check that out.
That video changed my life. So the video goes viral. You're familiar with the artist Mozzie, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mozzie was the first artist to post it on his page. So it was already going viral, like within the streets on the smaller accounts. And then Mozzie posted it, and then everybody like posted it from Fabulous to Swiss Beats to fucking Shaq. Like everybody was fucking posting shit, you know? Like everybody. So now it's going super viral, you know? And then literally that day I'm talking about, everybody was hitting my DMs. Every label you can think of. All the major labels was hitting my DMs. So this was the day before Halloween. So I immediately fly out to New York the same day. Like I got hit in the morning, and Johnny Shipes of Cinematic Records flew me out the same day. Like he hit me in the morning, like, yo, I gotta meet you. Da 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 da. He was like, can you make it to New York today? I'm like, yeah, if you pay for it. He literally got me to New York the same fucking night. I meet him at night. I meet him for like 5-10 quick minutes. And then he had to handle some other shit. Then the next day, he was just talking to me and all this other shit. And he ends up finding out like Big Crit was one of my favorite rappers. So he brings Crit in. It was like, yo, holy fucking shit. Like Crit's in this motherfucker. And I'm like, yo, like I'm a fan of your work. And then Crit seen the video. He's like, yo, I'm a fan of what the fuck you doing. So it was like a highlight moment. And he's tried to sign me, but as he's trying to sign me, every label's calling. Capitol, Def Jam, fucking Atlantic, everybody can think of, right? So then I take the meeting, a couple more meetings, and then I took a meeting with Capitol, and that's when the guy Fuzzy heard my shit, and he immediately heard my project. The project was only like, I think 10 minutes long, Ignorance, and they heard it, and it just started going crazy in the building. So I just went in there just to show him the shit. My manager knew him. And now I'm having a full-fledged meeting that wasn't supposed to be a meeting, which was crazy. So now they're like, yo, we gotta sign you. We don't have no artists on our label like you. But Atlantic was trying to sign me. So it became like this bidding war. So like the price is going up. And then I want to say there was Tuma or Carl Cherry at Spotify. This is before like Spotify, like playlist was like gigantic, but it was big. They put my video on Spotify. Spotify that only got fucking videos, you know? They put my video on Spotify. So now that made my bag go crazy. So now people throwing crazy fucking numbers at me. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like my life has changed, you know? And then Capitol had the most money for the least of my soul, basically. Like they was like, gotcha. we wanna own your masters. We're gonna do a 50-50 split. It's gonna be a partnership, and it's gonna be a license deal. So after 10 years, your masters are going to relinquish back to you, you know, like we don't own your masters, and we're going to do a one-off. You do one project with 10 masters. That's what they wanted, 10 songs. You do one project for us and you fulfill your deal, then you can get out. No questions asked. You don't got to pay the advance back. You don't got to do shit. You're out, you know, but it was a 1+1. So if I wanted to sign with them again, the deal would kind of been like double. But then I'm at Capitol for a while, and they were kind of like letting me do my thing. And that's when I came up with A Minute of Your Time. But A Minute of Your Time and Stubborn was supposed to happen back-to-back weeks. And that fucked up everything. And that kind of changed my perception. So A Minute of Your Time is supposed to be like a marketing scheme. That's the way I designed it. I was like, this was like when World Star was like the biggest fucking platform on Instagram. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to Star. I'm gonna go to World Star Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'm gonna post on there. And I'm just gonna blow up. And then the next week, we're gonna promote the album all week and then drop the album. And they're like, you know, labels, it's a bunch of red tape. They want to stop everything. No, we gotta do this right. We gotta do it like this. We gotta do it like. So the project didn't end up coming out. I did A Minute of Your Time in November. The project didn't end up coming out until March of the next year. So that's like 5 months. The hype has died down. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that kind of pissed me off. And then Stubborn does what it does. It did okay, but I wanted it to be like a back-to-back thing, and I feel like that would have really propelled me to another level. So after that, this is 2019, and we're working on this project all year. And this is when a couple of songs that was on Idols is being created and stuff like that. you know, and I'm thinking this project is fire, and they're like, no, we kind of need a single. We need a single. And I'm like, yo, this record is like Hot Now or like Mini Man or Fallback. These records could be a single, you know, like these are great records, you know.
I mean, Many Men, I think, I don't see why anybody would turn that down as a single.
They turned it down, dog. They turned it down. They turned it down. So, they turned it down, and I'm kind of going back and forth with them for like the whole year of 2019, just going back and forth. And then 2020, the pandemic hits, and I'm like, yo, everyone's at home. Now was the time to press the button. The place is gonna go through the fucking roof. People don't got anything to fucking do. You know what I'm saying? Let's press the button. And they're like, you can release songs on SoundCloud. And I'm like, SoundCloud? What the fuck are you talking about? Hell no. Hell no. And then I called my lawyer, called my manager, like, I want out because I was trying to get to that 1+1, so that the other side of the deal for the extra bag, if I'd have done an extra project for them. But I gave them the 7 songs on Stubborn and then the 5 songs on Amenity of Time, so that I kind of fulfilled my deal. But I was trying to, you know, get to the bag, you know? And I just decided like, yo, I'm better off on my own, you know? Even though they offering a lot of money for the second project, I can't stay. And then everybody left. Like the reason why I signed to Capitol was because of No ID. Like that was my selling point. When I took the meeting with No ID, took him to my studio, and you know, No ID is Common, Kanye, fucking Logic, Jay-Z, like legendary, No ID. Man. You know what I'm saying? The fucking legend, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm at meetings with him. I'm in the studio with him. We never got a chance to create, but like we're doing a bunch of shit, like kind of like having conversations. He was like, yo, this is how me and Jay-Z created 444. We'll just come to the studio and just talk. And then we'll have a good conversation and then we'll put it on a mic. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I can't speak on everything as to the reasons why me and him didn't work, but it was some label bullshit. Label bullshit. Nothing to do with me nor him. So then me and my manager was like, cool, we're going to try to go around the label and get No ID to kind of like co-manage you. And the label was like, nah, you can't do that because he works here. So all that shit happened. I'm like, I'm out. Fuck that. Thank you for the money. Thank you for the opportunity, but fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. And then VP of Capitol, Jeff Vaughn, he called me. He was like, yo, I appreciate you standing up for yourself. I admire you standing up for yourself. If you need anything, I'm here for you. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but you know, it is what it is, you know? And that was that. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for being in the building, but labels have way too much red tape. And it's not fun. And they don't know. Like a lot of people think, I'm gonna sign to a label, my life is gonna change. These artists that's blowing up, the label's not responsible. It's not them. It's probably the marketing team, because they, you know, a lot of labels delegate to like other marketing companies, people that specialize on social media and stuff like that, you know? So it don't be the label. The label, just if you look at the label, anything else other than a private investor that tells you what you can and can't do, you're looking at the industry wrong. That's all they are. It's just private investors that's like, nope, you can't do this. Nope, you can't do that. Nope, you know? Absolutely. And it was like, I seen what's happening now coming before it came. Like, that's why a minute of your time, I dropped minute-long records, because I knew that people's attention span was going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. And now it's 15 seconds. It's 15 seconds. If you can't catch my attention in 15 seconds, fuck you forever, you know? So look at where we are. And that's kind of what I was trying to tell them, but they want to spend $60,000 on one music video. And I'm like, yo, bro, we can spend $5,000 and go on World Star every day for a week for less than that, for 15,000. For sure. They're stuck in the past. So I think in the near future, labels are gonna die. I really believe that. I believe it's a dub for labels for sure.
I think COVID has forced labels' hands almost, because I mean, everything was going the independent way anyway. You know what I mean? More and more young artists are catching on that, you know, label's not the way to go. And then pandemic hits, and for whatever reason, most labels just decided we're not releasing any music, which made no sense to me at that time. I mean, it just, like you said earlier, everybody's in their house. They got nothing else to do. Drop some music, but it made no sense other than they can't capitalize on tour money. That's the only reason it does make sense.
Yeah, that wasn't even a part of my deal either. I didn't have no 360 deal. They only was making money off of my music. So everything else, tour, merch, features, they got no money from that. So it was like, why are y'all stopping me? Y'all gonna make money if I release this music? But they, labels want to do rollouts. They want to do it the whole thing, and it's like, no one gives a fuck about your rollout. Let's aim towards Spotify and Apple Music. Let's get playlisted. Yo. Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Let's drop some little small clips for people's brains just to feed them that and push it back to the music. Who gives a fuck about your rollout? I don't.
Rollouts are killing music, man. I hate this fucking roll. I hate the word rollout. It's just get rid of it. Yeah. It's so.
I don't remember the last time a rollout was like, oh my God, that is amazing. Only time people talk about rollouts is if they're in the industry, and it's like, yo, yeah, you feel good. That was a good stroke to your ego, but it doesn't fucking matter to the consumer. Like, oh my God, did you see Drake's rollout?
Bro, yeah, good for you, bro. No one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. You're 100% right. And to me, nothing is faker than a rollout, because a rollout insinuates that it's pre-planned, and if it's pre-planned, it's not genuine and it's not real. So just get it out of my face. But what do you think the most valuable lesson, that you learned from that whole experience that you could take away from it?
From that experience, there's a lot of money in the industry. That was a valuable lesson. Like, it was a valuable lesson. Like, it's a lot of money. Like, sometimes I was doing shows. I did like a festival. I did Day in Vegas, and like the amount they paid me, I was on stage for 10 minutes. I'm like, yo. Cole and Kendrick both performed that weekend. I'm like, if they paid me this, them dudes are making 1.5 for sure. Like, if they paid me what they paid me, they're making so much fucking money. And it's like, yo, that's fucking crazy. That was like a lesson. Like, yo, some artists ain't starving, bro. There are some starving artists, but some artists are not starving. And just seeing how much money is in the industry is like, yo, holy shit. So that lesson, and then also, it was another lesson, like labels, they don't know. They don't know. As much as they want to say, oh, we gonna sign you and we're gonna do this. It's a bag play. That's what I was talking about on my song Independent. You go to the label to get to the bag, then go independent. If you don't look at the label as a bag play, you're looking at it wrong, because now you're gonna look at these people, well, you're not putting me on tour and you're not getting me features. Like, the label didn't get me 0 features, like 0. I signed to them for like, 2 years? I signed in 2018, 2019, I left in 2020. Yeah, so 2 years, not 1 feature, like 0. Like, and I'm signed to the same label as, oh my God, getting calls out of the ass. Stop calling me.
Okay.
So let me text him real quick. Hold on, give me a second.
No, you good. While you do that, a little side note, it seems to me like it's just an outsider looking in and doesn't have label experience, but it seems like features would be one of the most valuable things you could get out of a label.
Yeah,
you get a whole bunch of guys in one place.
Yeah, so like I said, I was signed to the same label as like Lil Baby and Migos. I would have worked with Lil Baby. I wasn't really that much interested in like the Migos and stuff like that, because I don't like to like force shit. Like, that's kind of like what happened with like Katy Perry when she had the song with the Migos and shit. And I look forced as fuck. So
it made no sense.
It made no sense. So shit like that. And then Vic Mensa was also on my label, but even other labels, like, y'all can't. I went on tour with Vince Staples, and the label couldn't pull a feature with Vince Staples. You know what I'm saying? And they would tell me, oh, just DM him. I don't fucking know this dude, dog. Like, I'm just gonna DM random fucking people. The fuck? Like, I blew up off a viral video. It's not like I came up in LA and was at all these parties and rubbing shoulders with the right people, bro. I was a regular artist underground, and then I had a viral moment and my life changed. I don't know no one. I know 0 people. So I'm reaching out to these people hoping that they might have saw my video or they see my verification and think that I'm someone. Everyone's fucking verified. Who gives a shit, So it was like that type of stuff. When they would say that, I'm like, yeah, I want to work with this artist, and they can't pull it, It was that kind of thing. It was like, y'all, what are y'all here for? What are y'all here? Y'all can't even get me to work with artists on your label. On your label, they're signed to y'all. Like, hey, even if you got to offer this artist a bag, okay, maybe we're gonna give you $100,000 to work with, Katori, because my recording budget was $1 million. Give baby that 100,000. I would definitely work with him. You know what I'm saying? Give him 100,000. That's 10% of what my recording budget is. Let's do it. But they were more so worried about bullshit. Like, yo, DM this person, or I need you talking to people at industry events. Hey, okay, cool. I'm gonna talk to people at industry events. But you know what people at industry events do? You meet the same person 500 times. I already got your number, bro. I've met you before, bro.
Yeah. It's just the same shit. It's funny because I think that's like a really big misconception that most people think like, oh, if you're on tour with an artist, you guys are best friends. You're talking all the time, going out to dinner. Like, bro, you don't even see these guys.
I didn't, bro. I swear, I saw Vince Staples. Other than when he was on stage, I saw him 2 times the whole tour. I only talked to him once, bro. We didn't talk at the show. We didn't talk behind the stage. It was crazy because it's like I'm on tour with you and you talking to me on Twitter. It was so like, what the fuck? Like, you're in the other fucking green room. Like, let's, you know what I'm saying? But it's like his side of his tour was like, they were like really like gatekeepers. Like I couldn't even get to like network with them. Like, oh no, you gotta be off stage. I'm like, bro, I just performed. Like the fuck? I'm trying to talk to Vince. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to have a conversation. But I can understand, like, we were signed to the same agency, William Morris. So I think it was a play through them, not even through the label. William Morris put me on tour with him. So, but I met JPEG Mafia. He's dope. We had hella conversations. He's amazing, bro. We exchanged numbers and all that other shit. He's amazing, bro. I fuck with him. Like my voice had went out on stage because I didn't, you know, this is my first like tour, and I didn't know like after the show you really take care of your voice, tea, lemon, honey, all this other stuff. So he like walked me through it. It's like, yo, bro, your voice went out because you're not taking care of your voice. After you get off stage, instantly take care of your body. You know what I'm saying? Drink a lot of water. He walked me through the shit. Like that's some real shit. He could tell I was like almost like amateur hour, and he like walked me through it. So like JPEG forever, a real one. Thank you. If you ever watch this fucking podcast, JPEG, you my guy, bro. Because it was like amazing because, you know, it's JPEG Mafia, you know? So
absolutely. I always love hearing about, you know, guys that are looked at in a different light, if you want to say that are down to earth and humble and are willing to just kind of reach out and, you know, offer help when it's needed. It's underestimated in music for sure. But other than being signed to a label, because you could say that for this as an answer to this next question, but what's something that you've accomplished to your music or in your music career that your younger self would be proud of now? Like, put yourself in your mindset of what you were thinking back then. And I
actually beat myself up about this because I realized I didn't set my goals high enough. My goal was always to get signed, go on tour, and be on the radio. And I did all that shit. In like the span of like 6 months. Like that was a great feeling. Like family members calling me in, like, bro, your song is on the radio. Like that shit was like, what the fuck? My mom even called me. My mom don't even fucking listen to my music like that. Like she's into oldies and all that other stuff. So my mom called me like, you all over the radio. They play my song. DJ Felly Fell play my song a couple times all over the radio. So that felt great. But then I realized those goals aren't big enough, you know? So my childhood self would look like, yo, bro, you got signed and you made a lot of money and you went on tour. I went on multiple tours, but you went on tour and you were all over the radio. That felt good for the moment, but that's not high enough. I didn't set the bar high enough. So me now, do I appreciate those things? Yes, but I realized I should have shot higher. But my 10-year-old Katori, 8-year-old Katori be like, what? Like, oh,
no, absolutely. That's what we all dreamt of, man. We all dreamt of that when we were younger. That tour is like the holy grail.
Yeah, man. It was also my dad. Like my dad was always like my toughest critic. And it was it's amazing now because he's a fan now, which is weird. It's weird because I kind of need that critique from my dad. Like, yo, nah, like you could have came better on this one, or that verse is cool, but I know you got something better in you, or the hook needs some work. He doesn't do that. He's just like a fan, like a real fan. It's like, nah, Pops, like you don't understand that you pushed me to this. That's the reason why I do music, is because of my dad. I don't know if a lot of people kind of know that from the interviews, but because of my dad, he was well, still is. He's a producer, but he was a DJ. So like, I just was up under his armpit all the time, you know, and just he taught me the ropes. He taught me how to first start making beats. He taught me how to DJ and everything, you know? So that guy, love that guy.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I got one last question, and then we'll take it out. We're getting close to an hour here, but like from what I gather, it seems like you have every intention of staying independent from here on. So, in a space like music, where there's like a million different versions of success, right? Success is different for every artist. So, from here on, how are you going to track your goals and accomplishments, and what do you view as a success from here?
I think moving forward now, a success from here is setting consistent goals for myself and reaching those goals, even if it's micro steps. Because I got goals like I've never, like my goal for this year is to get 10 million monthly listeners. I mean, not 10 million, a million monthly listeners, and then 10 million streams for the year. Because I've gotten like 7, 8, 5, 4, but I've never got to that 10. So that's a goal for this year. And of course, like a million monthly listeners. I think I've gotten up to like 450, but never like broken 500. So like to double that, and like find a real financial freedom with this music thing. Like I like Capital signed me in 2018. It's 2022. I'm still living off of that Capital bag. Like I haven't like gotten a job or done some weird shit. So that of course I want to have more income than what's going out from music. But then also like a goal, I think success will just kind of give other artists the courage. Like I grew up making music with like a bunch of different guys, and they all stopped. Like they all stopped. They all got like regular jobs, or they're doing regular shit. And it's like, yo, bro, y'all was more talented to me than me. You know, like I some guys, it's like, yo, you were light years ahead of me lyrically, or light years ahead of me vibe wise, but you stopped because you didn't see what was on the other side of that, you know? And I got a chance to peek over the fence. It's like, yo, I already saw what was on the other side of this gate. So why would I go back and turn my back to the gate? Hell fucking no. Like I know what's on the other side of that. So I think those things is just like stepping into my creativity freely, and not overthinking my creativity, or not being worried about views, likes, comments, plays, streams. And even though I have goals for streams, but not being a slave to it. Like if I make a record and it works and I get 10 million streams on that one record, I'm not going to just keep duplicating that record over and over. That's not who I am, you know? And just the development as an artist, like if you were to listen to Ignorance and then you'll be like, is this the same fucking guy? You know, because Ignorance was just like rap, 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 rap. And then she is like awesome singing shit. But being a full ranged artist within, you know, the genre of music that I create in, those are the goals. And like to help other people, I think a lot of other artists are afraid. Like I'm talking to my cousin and he can really rap, but he's like so afraid to release a song and get no plays. I'm like, you already got no plays, bro. Hey, like you already get no plays. Like you can release it and get 10. That's way more than what you originally had, bro.
Yes, we've all got no plays at one point or another.
Yeah, and that 10 could turn into like 10 million. You never know, bro. Some TikToker hears your song and change your life. You know, sure. Who knows? So that type of thing, just encourage people to keep going, and like also like leave my mark music wise. You know, like I'm kind of letting go of the idea of blowing up and being like Drake. Like I don't care about that, but I want to more so have this idea of like when people listen to my music, like this was real, this was honest, this is what I needed, this helped me, this changed my life, or this helped me realize I wasn't alone in this world. I think that stuff is really important, you know, because like I think about like certain artists and I listen to their stuff like, yo, this is a vibe, but it's not feeding my soul. It's like almost like, and I don't want to disrespect the artist by saying their name, but like certain stuff is candy and certain shit is vitamins. And there's artists that you hear is like, yo, that was a fucking vitamin. Like that shit helped me feel better. I don't feel alone. I can turn to this, or I could send that to someone, and I don't want to be candy, you know? And sometimes
I love that. I love that.
Sometimes you got to make the candy because we're complex human beings, but I want to be vitamin. Yeah.
I love that, man. I've never heard that analogy before. I'm using that. I'm stealing it, but I'm going to give you credit every time I do, I promise.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But Like I said, we're about at an hour here. I wish we could go for 3 more hours because I have a million more questions, but
Yeah.
I'm welcome to have you back at any time if you're willing. But
Yeah, I'm willing. I'm willing. You got my number, dog.
hey,
Got my
I
number.
do. I'm not gonna lose it. But what
Yeah.
message would you like to give to the listeners before we head out here?
Message I would like to get to y'all is just try to be better. I'm reading a book called The Atomic Habits, and it's just be 1% better today than you were yesterday. Every day, just be 1% better. You don't got to be 100% better. You don't got to be 1,000% better. Just be 1% better today than you were yesterday, and believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and tell yourself you love yourself, because we'll tell other people that we love them, but we won't tell ourselves. So that's my message. And if you make a clip for Instagram, use that one.
I bet. Mark it down. If I had an assistant, I'd tell him to mark it, but I'll do it myself. But no, man. Thanks again. I really appreciate you joining me. Just taking the time. I really do. I know it's tough sometimes these days, but thank you also to everybody that's watching on YouTube, everybody that's listening to on wherever you listen to podcasts, because it's everywhere. You can listen to Katori Walker and the rest of the Deserving playlist exclusively on Spotify. The link is in the description. Stay safe out there, everybody, and have a fantastic night.
Fantastic. I like the energy from Fantastic. Fantastic.